Hey folks, welcome to another CrimeScene.com tutorial. Today we're going to be focusing on anti-theft powders. They're great for the home or office, or basically whatever you need them for, and they are used to catch thieves red-handed, or, as you'll see later on in this video tutorial, purple or green-handed. The first powder we're focusing on is invisible powder, and this powder is detected using a UV light. In order to use, simply take a brush and apply on a thin layer to whatever object you want. As you can see, I use a really thick layer, and this is because I have never used the powder before. And so for the tutorial, I wanted to be very safe and make sure that it actually works. But believe me, this stuff works, and you don't need a lot to make it work well. As you can see, only because of angle it is very visible. I even have to brush it off a little bit because I think it's too visible. If you do it thin enough, this comes out really great, but as you can see, it comes out fairly well even though I use a ton. As you can see, when someone simply touches it or rubs their hand on it or whatever, you can see that nothing really comes up unless you rub a lot. You'll see that I have a little bit of white on my hand and I wipe that off. Outside it looks like this, but as you can see when I use the black light, it's going to come out really strong. In order to do this, I used a 365 UV light, so that came out really well, but you don't need that strong of a UV light. But as you can see, it's very obvious that I touched it. The next powder I focus on is the purple powder. This powder doesn't require UV light to see. You can see it in invisible light. Just like the invisible powder, in order to apply it, simply take off the plastic seal, unscrew the lid, and use a brush to put on a coat on any object that you want. With this powder, since it's the second time I'm using it, I do a lot better job applying it. I use a thinner layer and it's even harder to see. The important part about doing this for at home or at the office when you're actually concerned with someone stealing it is making sure that you have a really thin but even layer across the entire thing. Powder's going to stay there, it's not going to move or fall off, so you want to make sure the entire thing's covered because they're not going to touch it in a specific area. Sometimes a handle will be better since that's more likely where people are going to grab it, or the sides. As you can see, when well applied, you can't see the powder. You can see the powder a little bit to the left side of the case, but besides that it's pretty much invisible. How this powder works is any perspiration on your hand is picked up by the powder and dyes your hand purple. So as you can see, I rub my hand together and make some perspiration, and in a second I'm going to touch the case and you'll see right here, see the purple where it's starting to appear? I tried to rub it off, it doesn't work, it's dyed to my hand. I rub a little bit more, you can see it comes off a little bit on the case. Don't be alarmed by this, it washes off objects very easily. It's only when there's a constant form of perspiration on your hand that it stays on. As you can see, my hands are dyed purple, and so this way you can easily detect anyone stealing. And that's it. Those are the two powders of many that we have available on at CrimeScene.com.